me to oppose. So off to France our boys were sent, and Carson he did say, go take our sons and tell the Huns that we are on our way.
What a way to start our Saturday night show. One of my favourite songs. One of the ones that I do actually know all the words for and can sing away. Well, I know a few, but not saying that I sing well. I have to say, not saying that I sing well. So let's get a few texts out of the way. Good evening to you all. Carl Porter, Roy Patterson, Chris Elliott, Harry MacArthur, Rebecca Marks in Jordan, Caroline Hughes, John Hewitt in Liverpool, Carl Robinson in Liverpool. We have Liverpool bands on tonight. Muriel Quinn, William Smith, Stephen McKelvey, Annabelle Kinnear, Roger Docherty, Joshua Morris, who's singing away. Good. I hope you weren't the only one, Joshua. Joan Sullivan, Adam Kennedy, David Hoey, Billy McMenemy, Roy Patterson, Lindsay Dunbar is watching in Donegal. Gary Dallas, Reggie Moore is watching from Newton Aycliffe. Brilliant to have you on board as always, Reggie. Sylvia Slane's watching. Jean Kerr is watching with us from Ballinamallard. Joan Strawbridge is waiting for another good show in cold rain. It is cold. Absolutely cold. Barry Foster's watching. Graham Kenny is watching. Linda Neely, Andy Robertson, Gary Tennant, Mary McKee. Are you in the Mountjoy, Andy, while you're watching, you and your good wife? Courtney, Andy snores like a chainsaw. I am surprised if Diane hasn't killed you, my friend. Mary McKee, Karina McHugh, Jim Elliott, William Mullen is in England instead of Enniskillen this week. Richard McNeil is watching from Preston Pans. Ian Henry's watching from Corby, Northamptonshire. Ian Nicholson, Edward Fellows says it's a great start. Alan Wardlow says magnificent. Billy King is watching. And Muriel, yes, we have noticed that Royce managed to spell years wrong. Harry MacArthur is watching from Glasgow. Stephen Ramsey hopes to see you in Londonderry next week. Stephen never watches this, so there's no point passing him messages through this. All right. William King, John China says he loves Lisa. Alderman Stuart McDonald, Morris Wark, James Johnson says he loves this song. Ken Thompson says loving this, no surrender. Ian Henry, Faye Corby, Northamptonshire is watching. Karen Mearns is watching. Davy Logan says evening all. Teal Sinclair is watching from Cold Dover. That Roger Dougherty says what a brilliant night that was. It was an absolutely fantastic concert, and we've at least one clip from it here, and of course Lisa herself. William Callahan says evening all. Cheryl and Gary Sloan are watching. Matthew Wiley, Denise and Amy are watching from Chillicoke. Adrian McElvenna is watching. Oh, Bubbles is watching. Very good, Stephen. Glad to have you on board. Keith McCormick says good evening, everyone. Looking forward to tonight. Cheryl says that I've got a bad top. The best top, Cheryl. Brian Goody and Sean Blair are watching. Jonathan Courtney is watching from Scotland. Mark Anderson says evening all. Great way to start the show. Pity about your top though, Valerie. Honestly. Jealous is hanging out you.
No jealousy, it's just a horrible top.
Tad Adams says, hi, Jimmy Morgan is watching in Great Yarmouth. David Bradley's in Bushmills, and my two dogs are going nuts there. There must have been a bird flew by. Reggie Collins watching in Kilray. Gillian Douglas is a bit late. You missed our opening song. Gillian, you would have loved it. It would have been great with you classes, you know. Connor Carson is watching in Moneymore. Joy Collin is watching. Carl McNall is watching. Says, good evening all from Nottingham. Hi to my family members. Happy birthday to my auntie Margaret Pavis. She anything to Sylvia Pavis? Great singer, absolutely fantastic singer. Matthew Wiley is watching. Malky Spence, Davy Pritchard, absolutely loved the nights in the Ulster Hall. They were super. Eddie Martin is watching from Steel End of Fife. Roy Fernandez, Diane Simpson from New Mills, John Higgins, Jackie Mullen, Elaine Tucker. Right, I'm going to stop there and we're going to get a little bit of music. So, as always, first tunes on the night are dedicated to the bands who should have been having their parade this evening. And to our knowledge, there should have been two parades this evening. The first one would have been in Portadown this tonight, and it is the memorial parade for Richard Jameson. And we thought that a really good clip for this would be the Camel and Loyalists, who of course have in memory of Richard Jameson and the Banneret. And this is them at the Covenant Parade in 2012. way to start off our show this evening, and of course, marking the Memorial Parade. I'm sure they're doing something small, even though we can't have our proper parades with COVID. Now, the other band who would have been having their parade tonight were Pride of Green Island, a band that we don't tend to see too much down this way, but still a good wee band now that I've seen a few clips of them. And this is them beginning their own parade last year. Super there from Pride of Green Island. So that was the two parades that should have been on this evening. Now, I'm going to go through a few more text messages, then we'll talk more about what we're going to do for the rest of the night. So Elaine Toker is watching in Lisburn. David Sherrison says, evening, everyone. Victoria says hi as well. Her phone is knackered, so watching with me tonight. Oh, very cozy. Very cozy. But where's Victoria's mum is what I want to know. Where is she? Is she now a regular viewer? Because she needs to be. Barry Foster's watching. Alex Williams says, evening all. Cheryl Guy Sloan is watching in Ard. Steve McKinney is watching from the Toon. Now, is that the Toon up the road or is it one further field? Let us know. Gordon Corbett is watching. Good evening, Gordon. I will get those books posted to you hopefully on Monday. Kira Kerrigan is watching from Castledurg. Roberta and Eddie Baird are watching. Billy McMenemy says it's an awful top. Oh, I'm so glad this top's annoying all you lot. It's great. Gary Tennant says happy birthday to Big Cecil in Ballymena. Is that Cecil works in, what is his last name? Works in the centre. Roy, help me out here. What do you call the centre in Ballymena?
What centre?
The one, Rodney and...
Carson, the Carson Project.
Carson Project.
No, that's Cyril.
Is that Cecil? Oh, right. Okay, so Cecil. We need to know more about Cecil, Gary. What age is he and stuff like
Cecil the
that?
Caterpillar, and Cecil was my friend.
Is your mic on?
Have you never heard? Yeah, have you never heard that before?
No.
You never heard the story of Cecil the Caterpillar?
Never.
Well, that shows you're a lot older than me, so therefore that was somewhere in my younger days.
No, it shows you that you're ancient and they had done away with those types of things by the time I was watching kids' TV. Kenny McKnight is watching in Glasgow. Stephen Owen. David Hagan is watching. Russell Smith. Andrew MacArthur says evening from Kilwinnie. Roy Fernandez is watching in Kent. Russell Smith wants to know, am I wearing my pyjamas? John Stevenson, hiya. John, how are you? Keep watching. Val says Arsenal Monday, or David Bradley says Val, Arsenal Monday night. Not a problem. Not a problem. Cara McNall says that that's her sister-in-law, but we won't say her age. That's a good idea, Kenny. Or Carl. Kenny Dummigan is watching. Barry Foster. David Baird is watching from Stronocum. Roy Walker has just tuned in for Widnes. Karen Mearns is watching, saying it was a brilliant parade. It was indeed, Karen. Absolutely fantastic parade. Johnny Walker is watching. Evening. Gillian says, flying solo tonight. Jensen is in bed, shattered. Oh, he must be tired if he is missing the bands. Per Jensen. Jane Kramer says, hi. Nicola is watching. Nicola McGravy. Carl Porter. Well, we said Carl, but you just said, oh, wee man, about Jensen. I know, it's awful. Reggie Cullen is watching. Roy Walker says to get this shirt off. Oh, I'm going to wear more Liverpool shirts now. Beryl Stewart is watching. William and Mark Gibson is watching. Valerie says, Irvine McCabe, can you play some of the Lisburn Young Defenders next Friday night? Well, we played them last night, Irvine. Matthew Wiley wants to know, any Miller Memorial from the Ulster Covenant Parade? I don't think I have them on the list, but I'll see if we can maybe get a clip in of them next week. Gordon Brock says, evening from John Gullen in Haddington. China wants to know, is any Kilkeel yet? Nope, no Kilkeel so far. James and Sharon Norris say that if there was a parade somewhere, they'd be at it. Absolutely. I know the feeling. David Bradley wants some Balrasheen. They didn't take part in the Covenant Parade, much to my disgust. Robin Larry says, evening from Glasgow. Ivan Webb wants to know, any Portadown Defenders coming soon? Can't remember whether I have them on the list. I don't think so.
They were played last weekend anyway.
Were they? Oh, okay. Jean Kerr, Hazel McGrath is watching. John China says, balloon wearing a Ben Dibbers t-shirt. David Irvine is watching. Kelly Lay. Irvine wants to know what's wrong with my voice. Why is there something wrong with my voice? Am I not sounding as squeaky as I normally do or something? The only Tim from Ibrox is watching. Tom Carlyle is watching from Bangor. Don't like the Liverpool top blue as the colour. Oh, dear. Paul Biggerstaff says, keep her lit. Valerie Big Cecil is Stephen McKelvey, be a strummer, Craigie Warren. Get the clocker lit up. So that's answered it now. So we now know Stephen McKelvey is the name for the birthday. Stuart Hayes is watching in Southport. Chris Lees is tuned in from Dumfries. James Johnson says, Drumdurg are marking Ulster Day and Armagh on Monday night, and we'll be covering it live for marching band videos. Great. Did I actually pronounce your surname right? Elaine Tucker? Did I say it right again? Because I can't remember what way I said it the last time. Raymond Newell is watching from Omagh. Jim Stout from Donaghadee. Alistair Annette is watching from East Belfast. Mark Greer says, come on the poll. You're right. 7-2. Oh, amazing. Mark Greer, come on the poll. Oh, no, you've read that one. I'm getting all flustered now. Yolka Patrick is watching. David Gibson is watching from Glasgow. Laura Elliott is watching. And Jim Elliott agrees it is a class top. Of course it is, Jim. We have taste. We have absolute taste. Now, tonight we are going to cover the Ulster Covenant and the parade that happened all of 8 years ago, which was its 100th anniversary. It just seems like a couple of weeks ago, to be quite honest. But our clips tonight now are all totally from some of the Covenant parades that took place around that time. And I do have to apologise last night for getting completely mixed up between Ulster Day and the signing of the Covenant and all that carry on. In my head, I have been getting mixed. There were so many parades during 2012, and I was at most of them. I got it mixed up with Balmoral Review, because the Balmoral Review was in May. So I was thinking May, surely the parade was in May. So I was getting all mixed up. So yes, it was very embarrassing, considering I sat on the organising committee for all of the centenary parades. Davy Hagan would be taking my head off at the shoulders if he heard me getting all mixed up. So I do apologise, Davy. Just blame age. Blame Roy's age, okay? So tonight we're going to do all about the events of 1912, and it's all clips from 2012 parade, or the 2012 parade in Dungannon as well, because they also had one. So we're going to start off with a band from Liverpool. It was great to see all the Liverpool bands, all the Scottish bands over for it as well. And this is Highfield Loyalists. And they're actually playing in 1912, believe it or not. I changed the start music at the very last second, and I forgot I'd done this. But listen, couldn't ask for a better one. In 1912, a Home Rule Bill England would impose. So here we go with Highfield Loyalists. super way to get us started. Now, I did go and I thought to myself, right, if I got it wrong last night, then we need to do a bit of education. So I did go and I found a fantastic clip. It's actually from, I think it's from the BBC, at the 50th anniversary of the Ulster Covenant. And I was going to play it tonight on the show, but it's 20 minutes long. But it's really, really informative. So what I've done is if you go to the Ulster Bands Forum website or Facebook page, I put the link in there instead. And it's absolutely brilliant. If you don't know about that period of history at all, or just little bits of it, go and have a good watch of it, because it gives you a nice, short, concise, understandable chunks. And it talks about how obviously at the start of the whole process, Ireland was united under the UK, and all about the political machinations that went on between the Liberal Party and the Conservative Unionist Party in order to appease the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party had to be nice to John Redmond's Irish Nationalist Party because he wanted their votes in order to stay in power. And it's all very, very interesting. But it's absolutely brilliant the way that he explained it, and the way they explained it right up through to the signing of the Ulster Covenant, and some great pictures and some great information, and even caricatures from the cartoons and the papers at the time. Absolutely brilliant. So definitely after the show, or even tomorrow when you're doing nothing, sitting with your feet up, have a wee watch of that video, because it's really, really good. And to be honest, we should know our history better than we do. And there's nobody will hold their hand up and say they don't know their history well enough than I do, or not well enough. You know what I mean? I don't know my history well enough, but I try. I always want to keep learning. So the next band that we have is another band from further afield. This one is from Scotland, again taking part in Belfast in the centenary period. This is Shield Hill Young Defenders. Great, again from Shield Hill, and that is actually their own TV channel that they have on YouTube, SYD TV, which is absolutely brilliant. I think every band should have their own YouTube channel. Nobody else will promote you. You have to promote yourself. Absolutely. Now, I have to say that looking for the clips, and I'm going to give all you videographers a telling off here, and I've already done it to Roy and Lisa. I struggled, really, really struggled to find clips of accordion bands. I could get like 20 seconds and 30 seconds and all that kind of stuff, but I couldn't get anything longer than a minute. I mean, it was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. So apologies to all the accordion bands out there, because I really did struggle. So I've managed to only get 2 accordion bands tonight, but to make up for it, I've managed to get 3 silver bands. And this is the next one. The next one is the Bon Silver Band, who actually led the parade. And I also want to take this opportunity. There's a very special gentleman who is watching this evening. He watches every week religiously, his son tells me, and he was 83 yesterday. And his son sent me the message last night when I was on air, and I didn't get it because I don't see the text messages until after finished. So my apologies, Ian, that I didn't get it. But I want to say a big happy 83rd birthday to John Carlyle, who was for many, many years the bandmaster of Spa Accordion. And I wanted to announce that now. So happy birthday to you, sir. I'm glad you enjoy the show and watch every week. And I wanted to pronounce it now because 2 of his sons are actually walking in front of the band here as well. You will see the original orange standard flag that was carried at the Covenant 100 years ago. And then that's carried by one of his sons, Andrew, and then one of his other sons, Ian, is walking beside him with the sword. So this is Bon Silver. And it's also the start of the parade. And you can see all the hidgens, as it would say, hidgens in the orange order at the front of it. So have a good look at this one from Bon Silver. Brilliant to get a full clip of a brass band, and a super brass band they were. So hopefully you enjoyed seeing the 2 youngsters there, John, and many happy returns. I hope that they have thoroughly spoiled you as well. So let's catch up on a few texts. Alan McCalmont says, love the top, up the Reds, good man. Ted Adams says, can there be any bands from the Luther 500 parade from Portadown next week? Funny, I was watching that video earlier on because I was looking for myself in it. Why else do you look at videos? Let's face it. But well, we'll see. We'll maybe get some clips on it. Again, it's very short clips, which is I hate it. Edward Grafton is watching from Loch Brickland. My mum wants to know, why has Roy a photo of your two dogs on the screen? So if you will notice on our photos this evening over to this side, you will see a photograph of Edward Carson and James Craig. And of course, what are my dogs called? Carson and Craig. Yes. Wonder why. Joy Collins says that Joshua never moved off his chair the whole day. I see somebody else later on asked him, was that like a high chair or something, Joshua? Carl Porter was asking John what part of Liverpool the Highfield Loyalist was from, and John has told us Bull. Tom Carlisle says Chelsea get lucky. Can't even remember what the Chelsea score was. I'm not interested. And Ulster Hannett wants to know, have you possibly canvassed Lang volunteers from the Covenant Parade? I definitely saw a clip of them, Alistair. I can't remember whether I included it or not, because I managed to actually get an awful lot of clips of you flip bands. It was terrible. Joy Collin wants to know, have I had any Kilkeel bands yet for John? No, I don't think so. I don't think I've any Kilkeel bands as yet, but I'm sure there'll be one somewhere. Davy Semple says he's got a great show, having a wee beer tonight again. Davy, are we turning you an alcoholic? Is that what this is doing? I didn't admit, I didn't get my gin last night, and I've none sitting out the night. I'm very badly prepared this weekend. Anne Hyman says hello from herself and Ronnie in Portrush. They're just back from Bangor. Funny, Anne, when I saw you coming into the page, I was wondering where you were this evening. Were you back in Portrush, or were you still away? Stevie Freeman is watching from Cumbernauld. Let me see. Trevor William Monaghan has joined us. David Baird from Sternockham has joined us. Maybe I've said that. Let me see. I'm just going down through here. Lots of people are wishing you happy birthday, John. There we go. Amanda Baird is watching. Caesar Kenny has joined us. Great to have you on board. Billy Yar has joined us from Australia. Lovely to have you. Billy, hope you're enjoying it. I think you've been on before, haven't you? Great to see you again. Eddie Turney says, I suppose there's no point asking tonight. None whatsoever. And in fact, China said earlier on, get the pilgrims on. China, not tonight neither. Any clocker bands, as they are the best. What is a clocker band? I have no idea what a clocker band is. What is that? What is that? Mark Greer, what is a clocker band? Tell me, or is that a typo? Right, let's go to our next band. Now, events related to the Covenant didn't just happen in 2012. There has been a big push and a big movement. As you know, I think there's at least 2 or 3 going on Monday night to mark the Covenant, even in these difficult times. But there has been a big push to try and make more of Mark and Ulster Day every year, which is fantastic, because we should be. Very important day in our history. So in 2013, there was a Ulster Day celebration held at the Waterside Theatre in Londonderry, and this next pipe band actually played at it. Great march. I think there's something tells me it's called Hector McClellan, because I play it, but I would have to go back to my books and try and figure out the name for it. Tunes, yes. Names, no. Don't work for me at all. So this is Talontrain Pipe Band playing in 2013. fantastic. Just the right length of tune as well for a pipe band. Absolutely brilliant. But I love that wee march. You just can't remember its name. I think it's Hector McClellan, but I'm not 100% certain. So if anybody knows for sure, let me know. Now, of course, 2012 in Belfast was absolutely fantastic. Right, Roy, there's concerns about you here. There is absolute concerns about you. Joy Cullen wants to know, you're very quiet, or maybe you can't get a word in. Joy, the man abuses me every time he opens his mouth. That's terrible. Absolutely terrible. My mum says, Joy Cullen, I was thinking that myself, not often he's so quiet. Jim says, you're sleeping. Are you? I can't see. And Eddie Torney says, you sound better when you say nothing. Come on. Are you there?
Definitely not asleep, because how else do you think the videos go on?
Well, that's true. That's true. I'm enjoying the silence, I have to say. Don't stop it. You know I miss your banter. Of course, I'd prefer it when you talk to me. Gordon Carey is watching from Crombury and Cummock and Ayrshire. Lindsay Ferguson has joined us. Hiya, Lindsay. Caesar Kenny says, Val, get the old bin dipper top off. I love wearing it. Now that I know it annoys you so much, I'm going to wear it more. So 2012, fantastic parade. Over 30,000 people were on parade. I did hear estimates of the numbers who were watching it. I mean, the numbers on the streets were absolutely unbelievable. 5 and 6 deep at most places on what was actually a very, very long route. For funny, Lisa was telling me that Chris was walking back from Stormount towards City Hall, and they kept meeting people, and they were going, is it much further? It was much further. And they did the usual, it's just around the next corner. You know, it could have been miles away, absolutely miles away. But it did produce one of my most favorite pictures ever. And I've got to show you. So this is actually off my wall in my front porch. I had to clean the dust off it. So now when you go into my front porch, there will be a big square. You know the way when you take a picture of a wall that's been there for ages, there'll be a square around there, but we'll not talk about that. So this is my most favorite picture ever. Can you see it? Now, where am I? I am there. That's me. I am so proud of that picture. So that is framed and up my whole wall. And sitting beside it is, of course, this little gem, which is, let me see if I can get it without reflection, which is, of course, the covenant that everyone signed, or a copy of the covenant that everyone signed in 2012. So that's what the fuss was about. And 2012 was a fantastic day. Lisa actually said that it took something like 4 hours to pass any one point, and it was absolutely amazing day. Anyone who says that the marching tradition or the Protestant tradition is fading away just needed to look at that day. Now, we're going to take another band from that. Eddie and China are muttering away there. Look, neither, I was going to say Ballyhacket, Ballyhalbert or East Belfast Protestant Boys are not on this evening, okay? So stop gurning. The next band, however, are on, and it's Skoch Flip Band, who again were at the parade in 2012, and this is them on parade. Fantastic there. Lovely version of a Galanthea. Sounding really, really well. A couple of little bits in there I've never heard before in the parts. Sounded quite well. Maybe I have to steal those. Not that I play Galanthea that often anymore, but you know what I mean. Let's see who else is commenting. Joanne Burtney has joined. Great to have you, Joanne. Also, Tracy from Hartlepool, who is watching with a lovely glass of G&T. Don't rub it in, Tracy. I haven't got one tonight. It's really, really bad. China and Eddie. China and Eddie. I don't know which of the two of you are the biggest germs. Honest to goodness. You're deadly. And of course, yes, lovely to see Drew Nelson there in the start of that clip. Such a huge, huge loss. Absolute gentleman. Couldn't ask for a nicer man. Lovely man. Eddie and China are muttering away about whether Skew on the clip last night or not. I don't care. I don't care. They are so fantastic. Hiya, Gordon Hotchkiss. Nice to see you. Super wee band from near me, says Philip Mackay. Hardest name in the world to pronounce, though. Is that Skew? You see, I call it Skew. What do you call it, Roy? Okay. And I've heard it called other things, but I call it Skew because I'm that used to with a GH. You get at it. Shock. Jensen calls them the ski band. Quite right, they is too. Now, let's see. We haven't had anything from Kilkeel yet. I think this next band are from Kilkeel. Am I right, Roy? You're in a huff the night. What is wrong with you? You're never as quiet as this.
I'm grand.
He's huffing. He's huffing about something. Michelle, get him up a cup of coffee or something to cheer him up. So this next band, I think are from Kilkeel, but I know if I'm wrong, you guys will keep me right. This is Ballyvey Flute Band again at the Covenant Parade, playing Stand Up for Jesus. Lovely and nice to see another Kilkeel band there that aren't Pride of Ballinran or More Young Defenders. Lovely to have that mix. Now, It's very hard not to have a Kilkeel band on the show. We'll have to aim for that some night. Just come back through the comments here. Let me see, where did we go to? Now, yes. Lindsay says the way that she pronounced it is skio, with no at the end of it. I don't know. Is there somebody in the band watching that could maybe tell us the right way to say it? Because
it was ones in the band that told me skeg.
Skeg?
Yeah, it was the one wearing the red sash, which took to be the bandmaster, said it's skeg is how you pronounce it, and the ones who live there say skeg.
You just want to be right, don't you?
No, that's what I was told, because I would have said skunk before, but
no, I do not know. I do not know. Billy McManamy is wondering, will there be any parades next year? Do you know, Billy, I have been hoping and hoping and hoping, but the way this carry-on's going, I genuinely don't know anymore. I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit worried. Will we miss our second 12th? Will we miss the Covenant or the Centenary Parade of Northern Ireland? I mean, that would be horrendous. Another feather in them boys' cap, but oh no, so everybody stay in the house. Let's get rid of this blooming virus. Stay in the house. Don't go anywhere. No house parties. No nothing like that there. Let's get rid of this blooming virus till we get our parades back again. I can't get through another year without them. James Holland says he loves it here in I'm going to try to pronounce this, James. Dordrechtstede in Holland. I have no idea whether I just mangled that or not, but welcome, James. We are glad you're loving it. I'm taking it with a name like James Smith. You're not actually from there. You're from here originally. But if you're not and you're native, then welcome. We are glad to have you on board. Let me just see. I'm going to Jason Gibson wants to know any Oma Protestant boys on tonight. I don't actually. I don't have them, and I saw Gillian saying they better be, because he promised Jensen you could watch it tomorrow because they'd be on. Did I promise that I would include all my Protestant boys? Did I? Did I? Seriously? Well, you're only saying that to make me worried. If I did, I'm sorry. Sorry. I'll get them on next week for sure. I'm so sorry. If I did. The bass drummer is getting a lot of admiration. Yeah, I love that style, but of course then Balrasheen does that style, so of course I'm going to love it. Mark says you are to cheer up Roy because United won today. Did they? Edward Fellows is impressed by the doubles on a hymn. Yes, of course. Of course. James Smith wants to know about the county flip band. James, you missed it last night. We had quite a few clips of the county on last night. Unfortunately, not everybody knew it was the county at the time, but it was good fun. So Lisa has got another one done for us. This time it is accordion bands. So I'm going to have to re-listen to that to myself, but I'm not going to tell anybody how I did. Yvonne said that the bass drummer there of Ballyvea is going to have sore arms after doing that every parade. Ron says that them country folk didn't know how far they were walking that day. A few blisters, I would say. Hiking boots required. I didn't have to walk that far. I only had to walk to City Hall. It was great. Absolutely great. Philip Maggie says geography isn't her strong point, Joy. Is that about me? What have I done now? What have I said done now? I don't know what I don't know. Lindsay says, get them banana ban on from Kilkeel. Oh, wash your mouth out, Lindsay. My goodness. Oh, dear. Now, the next clip. So, of course, the first clip that I found from the archives was 20 minutes long, so I didn't want to include this, but I found this nice wee shorter one, okay? And it's a silent movie, so there'll be no sound. But it's got quite a few, and I'll maybe there's the March of the Orange Battalions. Then there is the Orange Men marching through the crowded street to cheers. There's photographs of Edward Carson and others signing the Ulster Covenant. The crowds are being held back by Orange Men. The arrival of Sir Carson and Mr. Smith at Liverpool. Let me see. We spiel here. I'll read you out the spiel. This newsreel, Saturday, 28th of September, when all men who could prove Ulster birth were invited to sign the Solemn League and Covenant to pledge that they would use all means which may be found necessary to prevent the setting up of a Home Rule Parliament in Dublin. The bill had already been introduced into the House of Commons in the spring, and women signed their own separate declaration. Altogether, 471,414 men and women signed either the Covenant or the Declaration, and over 30,000 more women, in fact, than men. So this film shows scenes from the day in Belfast, including Orange Lodges marching towards the City Hall, cheered by enthusiastic crowds. Carson returned from Belfast on board the Patriot, and the captain was Captain Paisley, to Liverpool, where he was greeted by the local Conservative MP F.E. Smith, who was known as Carson's Galloper because of his devotion to the cause. And there is pure quality footage of Carson addressing a crowd at the dock. So it's only a minute long, and I thought it would be nice to see what it was like actually in 1912. So this is a very, very short archive digital newsreel. We getting it, Roy? I have no idea whether there's what 16-second delay before, or 26-second delay before I see what you see. So of course there I'm blithering away. Have I got it right? Because I was expecting sound and there isn't sound. Oh, Valra. Okay, so I always thought that was interesting to see all that there. You could just see Edward Carson there in that last part as well. It was really, really good. Now, I did promise you 3 silver bands this evening, and we're going to deliver it. Roy, very kindly, this one was actually taken, I don't know what way it was taken, but it was taken on its side anyway. So Roy has flipped this round for me. There's a little bit of a funny bit in the beginning of it where you can actually see flipping between the 2 original angles. But I'm sure you'll enjoy this. So again, this comes from the Waterside Theatre in 2013 at the Covenant Celebration concert that they held there. And this is Britannia Band. super sound there. Absolutely brilliant. It's not often I come across a really good clip of Britannia, but I really enjoyed that one there. So, Roy, the general consensus seems to be that you're right. How is it you pronounce it?
Skeg.
Skeg. Right, okay. So Lindsay Dunbar says, however, when you're at trophies, everyone shouts skio, skio. So I don't know, but skeg is the right way. Okay. Joshua says that the conductor in Ballinran a few years ago pronounced it skio and the crowd burst out laughing. Let me see. James Smith is watching from Wishaw in Scotland. William Adams has joined us from down there in Portrush. Carl McNall says, please say hi to Margaret and George Spence in Northampton. Philip says, sure, we haven't got a clue how to Ballymajock at this side of the mountains. I have no idea what you want. John, so you didn't walk a parade? I did. I walked all the route of the parade that I was meant to walk. I walked to City Hall, went for the main parade going past, and then walked back from City Hall. So yes, I came from Donegal Road, I think it was originally. Yes, so I did all I was meant to do. We just weren't allowed to do it all. Let me see. That Eddie fella is a good lad, says Ron. How many miles was it actually? Trevor Donald thinks it was only 6 miles. I have no idea whether it was 6 or how many miles it was. I can't remember. Give a shout out to Joshua Morris's nanny, who is now a Virtual Band Parade fan and never misses. Hiya, Mrs. Morris. Or maybe you're not Mrs. Morris, but hiya, Joshua's nanny anyway. Joshua, you now have to be on your best behaviour because nanny will be watching. Nigel Sinton, apologies, is watching from the hills of Tandragee, County Armagh. Excuse me. Edward Fellows said that they had a parade in Liverpool to mark Carson's arrival and speech. Yes, absolutely correct. James Smith says great cast. Not sure what that means. Aaron Cranston is watching from Canada. Lovely to see you again, Aaron. You're getting to be a regular here. It's great to have you back again. Maureen Wilson is watching. Great show. She's enjoying it. Eddie Torney says they're from the Kilkeel end of Ballyhalbert. Oh, I do not know. You lot are terrible. Everybody's loving that wee clip there of Britannia Band. So hopefully you will then enjoy the next clip as well. I know two ladies who will absolutely love this one. Portadown also has the Covenant Centenary celebration. Theirs was in July in 2012, and this is the UVF Regimental playing at the playing in the centre of Portadown for that event. Superb as always from the regimental there down in Portadown. Absolutely fantastic. And Amy is happy. I am glad to see that you're happy, Amy. Now, Sturdy Sturdy Bradshaw says that he is old. He remembers the silver bands doing Belfast 12th. I'd love to see silver bands doing more. This is my campaign on this whole carry on here. We need to see the silver bands out more and doing more parades because we love to see you. Have you not got that yet? We just love to see you guys on parades. So start doing more parades. Jane Smith says, loyal, we are wish you loyal. Okay, great job. China says that I didn't do the Covenant parade. I did. Look, there's proof. I have photographic proof. Alex Shaw is watching from Hartshill. Davy Baird said it was a long walk with a 3-stone accordion. I bet it was. I'd imagine that hill at Stormont wasn't much fun neither. Jonathan Courtney thinks it was about 13 miles in total. That's a long walk. How long's Belfast 12th then? If that was 13 miles, I wonder how long the Belfast 12th. So I'm sure someone will tell us there. Albert Harkness, Albert, good to see you on. You haven't been on for a night or two. Hopefully you're keeping well. Let us know how you're getting on. David Sherrimadon said that they walked from the top of the Shankill to Stormont and back again. It was a wee bit more than 7 miles. Okay. When Johnny comes marching home, everyone was loving that clip there of the regimental. Lisa says 5 miles from Sandy Road to Stormont, and then the return parade, so probably about 6 miles for the country bands, but Belfast bands still would have had the longest walk, the furthest, as they had to return home straight after. China says I didn't walk in God's country, East Belfast. That is true, China. That is true. Not on that particular day. Anyway, Billy Unsworth is watching from Liverpool. Billy, great to have you on board. Maureen wants to know, do we not have any pipe bands? Yes, we did. You missed it. You missed it. But we're going to get a pipe band coming up shortly. Now, I was contacted yesterday. Yes, during the day, because there was a bereavement and I was asked to play a clip of the band that the gentleman was from. The bandmaster of Glenlochan Band passed away suddenly on Thursday, I think it was, Trevor Burns. He was only 51, so they had asked me to play, I was contacted and asked to play a little clip of Glenlochan Flute Band. So this is them at Pride of Ballinran's parade in 2018. Condolences to the family of Trevor and all his friends within the band and community as well. Now, we had another very sad bereavement during the week as well. Rachel Lowry, who was a drum major with Armagh Pipe Band and a former Junior World Championship champion, was killed tragically in a car accident this week as well. by all accounts, she was a rising star of the drum measuring world, and you really only have to look at the large amounts of tributes that are pouring out from all corners of the globe to see how much Rachel was well loved and how many friends she'd made all over the world. So just to Rachel's parent, family, and circle of friends, and anyone who knew her, again, on behalf of Ulster Bands Forum, we would like to extend the sympathies to both Rachel's family and Trevor's family, and say that, you know, we're all thinking of you. And it's amazing how bereavements within the band community can have such a ripple effect and affecting so many people. So we thought that one of the best tributes to Rachel was to show her in action. So this is Rachel competing in the Northwest Championships down in Portrush last year. She's competing in the juvenile heat. And if you watch, Rachel is the middle of the 3 drum majors on parade. And you'll see what happens at a drum majors finale in the pipe band contest. But you'll also see exactly how talented Rachel was and what a loss it has been to the pipe world. Very talented young lady indeed. And hopefully the video clips of Rachel and of Trevor will give their family some comfort over the years to come, being able to see them doing what they loved most. It's one of the wonderful things about the video that you have nowadays, that you can still see the people. Now, from something so somber to something just a little bit different. So I was able to find clips of Shankill Road Defenders playing at the Covenant Celebrations concert, but I found this one instead, and I thought this was much more fun. I'm getting the impression these SRG boys are a wee bit rowdy, Victoria. Would I be right? Huh? Would I be right? Jason says the Belfast 12th is 17 miles. China says it's 14 from the east. Joey Collins says that Josh's nanny is Carl Thomas, although Josh's granny Mita watches as well. This is why China, they are getting so many Kilkenny clips on here, because it's like families watch. So you need to get the wife and the Waynes and everybody, the whole works. All the family watching, and then when we get a bit more East Belfast. Same with you, Eddie. Get the whole clan watching. Cousins, distant cousins, people are married to your hairdresser, things like that. There, get them all watching. We'll get Ballyhalbert on yet. Jock Ramage is watching from Tarbolton in Ayrshire. Lovely to have you. The Covenant Parade was Mark Anderson's first as an Orangeman. We stood and waited for about 2.5 hours before we even went anywhere. That is right. It took a long time to get moving on. I am Doggard. He said, if you had walked Glasgow back in the 80s, you would know what a walk was. Where's the field park? Just around the corner. And 100 corners later, there was no field. Yvonne says that she did walk in Ouija Land in the 80s when in the Whitburn Flute Band. Roy wants to know what part of Northern Ireland am I from? I am from God's country, Roy. Absolutely. God's country. Good old Balrasheen. Now, let's see. Taylor Sinclair says, I am that is normal. In Scotland, walk with Dundee Flute. Dundee Flute. It's always around the corner. Now, let's see where we are going to next. Just scrolling through some lovely messages there. Window cleaner uses a sander in that street. Is that the Belfast clip? Look, Craig. Craig feels that he needs to be involved. It's a Covenant show after all. He feels he needs to be involved. Now, the next band playing Air Force Blue are from the Covenant Parade once again, and this is Pride of the Hill, Rathviolent. Brilliant there from Pride of the Hill. Now, as I said earlier on, I absolutely struggled to get clips of accordion bands. So this is probably the lightest programme ever for accordion bands. I feel so terrible about it. So as I say, I've already given off to Roy and Lisa. Roy's response was...
Shows you who cares. No one.
Listen. Best musical talent out there, and I think it's proven in this next clip. The next clip is from... No, you're not getting on. You're not getting on. The next clip is from the concert that was held in the Ulster Hall the night before the Covenant Parade. This is Brunswick accordion. And I'm in it, but it's, I absolutely adore this piece of music. I think I've played it on here before, but I absolutely adore this next tune. It's called Sleeping Warrior, and I have to let you into a wee secret. There's a wee arpeggio part in it, going up and down, and it was literally created about half an hour before we went onto stage because I made it up in the in the back rooms up in the Ulster Hall. So I think it just adds to it. I think it just makes the tune, of course, but then I'm biased. But this is Sleeping Warrior from Brunswick Accordion. Fantastic piece of music, Ron. You're totally right. Jane Watterson does do a fantastic solo piece in the flute or on the flute. Yeah, it's a brilliant piece of music. And to be honest, Joshua, the reason it doesn't appear in CD is I wasn't free the night the recording was done, but also I probably couldn't have done it the exact same if I want to play it again. I just felt it needed that wee bit of something, and I did okay against the rest of the band, but the two pipes when they come in, they were drowning me out. The Percy Rossetti was just at its max by that stage. But it was such an enjoyable night. Yes, Victoria, I do know that was SRD in the background. Davey and Eddie were sitting there just tormenting the life out of everybody. That's normal. Absolutely brilliant tune. Now, going back to the parade, which then would have been the next day, this is Downshire Guiding Star. Another great band there, of which we have lots of them. Now, going back up to the 2013 celebrations there in the Waterside Theatre in Londonderry, this is another fantastic band from Londonderry. This is Churchill Flute Band. And this is, have a wee listen to our Janice shining on the recorder. Recorder, tin whistle. Not recorder, tin whistle. Superb there from Miss Channing, who thankfully has moved back to these shores, so we'll get to see her. I was going to say we'll get to see her at parades more often, but Not this year, anyway. Now, I did promise a few more silver bands tonight than normal. So delighted to have the next one. This is Rogan Silver Band, taking part in the Dungannon Covenant Parade, which was also held in 2012. I think this is almost a full clip. Not quite, but almost. So this is them. Do you know is it Territorials they're playing, I think? I didn't write it down, but I think it's Territorials. We'll know once they start playing. Did you go to the end of the Orange Man? Because you can still keep hearing them play at your Orange Man. Because it was the good thing about a silver band is even after they're past you, you still keep hearing them. Absolutely brilliant. Love that march. The counterpart in it is, it's a dream to play. Absolute dream to play. Now, let's go to Newtonards Melody, in fact, and this is them up in Belfast on. Is it not? No, it's not. You're right. It's not. I've jumped. See, Roy, what is wrong with you tonight? I think there's something wrong. What are you huffing about? What have I done on you? Right. Next clip is from the Covenant Parade in 2012 in Belfast. It is the one and only Ballykeel Loyal Sons. That's what's wrong with them. A Ballykeel on and no pride of the main. That's what it is, isn't it? This is Ballykeel Loyal Sons of Ulster.
Hello.
I absolutely love that wee medley that Ballykeel play. I know that's probably 8 years ago, but it's still a fantastic medley. The drum and the drum setting and the flutes just go perfectly together. Absolutely perfectly together. Now we can go to Newtonard's medley or melody. This is them, of course, at the Covenant Parade in 2012. Roy Walker asked, was I ever in a marching band? Eddie's reply is, she was, but she put them all off the road. Trying to think. There's really only one band that I was ever in that is off the road now. That was English Accordion. But yes, I was in Denoy, and then I was in Killycoogan, and then now I guessed every so often with Brunswick whenever they're doing something that I can manage to make, because Kilkeel's too far away for me to drive up every week. Now, Anne was asking, do we have any Coleraine district? I have to say, I was really kind of restricted in the clips that I could use this evening, because the majority of the clips of Covenant Day are of the full parade. So therefore, you only get like 30 seconds of every band. So what I was trying to do was find full clips and full tunes, because I don't like that, wee bits and bits and bits. So although, like the old time videos are completely fine doing that, but not when we have, like the modern videos. So we're going to go. Hopefully this will please Anne. We're going to go to New Buildings, actually. And this is Pride of the Orange and Blue. Again, their contribution to Covenant Day. brilliant there from Orange and Blue. Now, something a wee bit different. So not only was there parades to mark the Covenant centenary in 2012, they also had lambeg drumming contest. And this is a pairs lambeg drumming contest, which was held in Randallstown. And this time, I believe, based on the description from the video, is what they call Finton's time. Definitely a bit of noise with those drums, that's for sure. Now, I did say, and I've said it a couple of times already, that I struggled to get clips of accordion bands. So I looked for clips of Dunloy. I looked for clips of all the accordion bands that I could think of to see if I could get a long clip in any way. All I could find was 37 seconds, 26 seconds, you know, just as they've gone by the camera. Lisa eventually came to my rescue and was able to find a minute-long clip of Parkinson accordion. So I'm afraid this is all I could get of any other accordion band on parade on Covenant Day. So let that be a lesson to all you guys with the cameras. That's it. That's the longest other clip. My alternative was playing 2 clips from Brunswick, but I thought there might be too many people complaining if I did that. Now, the next clip is absolutely fantastic. For all you guys out there and girls who consider yourselves drummers, have a watch of this. Now, I'm going to tell you in advance, this is a 7-minute clip, okay? It won't feel like 7 minutes when you're watching it, but just can remember that as you're listening to this guy. He doesn't lose tempo. He's varying it all over the place. He's, this is 7 minutes of solid drumming. This is some feat. This is Garth McLeese, and he's playing at the concert held on the night before the Covenant Parade. Wasn't that superb? Now, that was 7 minutes, right? So if I tell you that an average flute band tune would run anything from 120 to 2 max, right? A brass band or a proper, like an accordion march, which is, based off the brass band marches, usually runs around 230 to 3. So that is solid playing for the equivalent of, 3 flute band marches and maybe 2 silver or accordion marches. I mean, that is awesome. That is awesome. And, the techniques that he was using are just out of this world. Now, let's get back to the Covenant Parade. And the reason I chose this one, I know this band was on last night, before anybody says anything, okay? They were on last night, but I liked this one because it was a slightly different colour party arrangement for them, and I thought it actually worked better, probably, than their normal arrangements. So this is Gertrude Starr playing Cairnsey Forever, again at the Covenant Parade. Gertrude Starr there. Question posed for you, Roy. How did that work with the 2 Union flags? Where was the second one supposed to be?
There never should be 2 Union flags out on parade.
Well, I suppose that one there is excusable because it was actually the Ballymochan ladies from their colour party along with Gertrude Starr. I love the way they all organised.
Even guesting bands, there should only ever be one.
Oh,
there only ever should be. And if you actually take a parade, a full parade, if it's something like the Covenant Day, believe it or not, there should only be 1 Union flag on parade the whole way if it's one single parade.
Right. So is that the same for like a band parade?
No, a band parade is slightly different because they've got their gaps in between each band. It's not
that would apply then, because I mean the 12th of July.
The 12th of July is an organised parade. For an organised, and it should only have one Union Jack on the parade.
One Union flag.
If you ever watch any military parades, there's only 1 Union flag at the head of the parade. Any Royal British Legion parade, there's only 1 Union flag on parade.
My view is the more Union flags, the better. Cheryl McDowell says the subtitles doesn't understand my accent. She's in fits reading them. Cheryl, you are not the only person who has had a laugh at that. Wait till you see them if I try to say Lisburn Young Defenders. What are we going to get for it tonight? I haven't mine's up tonight. Roy, have you yours up? No, we haven't them up. Never can manage to get Lisburn from me at all. Now, we have come to the end of the show, believe it or not. Thank you all for sticking with us. Thank you for joining us and watching with us. it was a fantastic year for centenary parades. There was a memorial review. There was a couple of centenary parades. Then the next year there was, there was just so much. It was a decade of centenaries, which was absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, next year we have the formation of Northern Ireland to look forward to the centenary for that there. Please let parades be back by then, or else I'm going to be climbing the walls, as I'm sure you all will be too. So thank you all for joining us. We are going to finish tonight on another clip from 2013. This one is, and this is back in Londonderry. It is the concert in the Waterside, and it is William King. So we're finishing tonight on William King playing Itchy Fingers. And for all of those who said that the music tonight has been fantastic, then this one is not going to let you down neither. On behalf of myself and Roy and Lisa, thank you for being with us. We will see you again next weekend, as always, 8 o'clock Friday and Saturday. Thank you for being with us. And until then, keep the foots to the myth, because we're coming to the tune.
It was when England's glorious sun in 1688 was overcast with treason's cloud and popery stood elate, that up arose her Protestants, the peasant and the peer, and vowed the chain of perjure James that they would not dainty wear. They sought them out a prudent chief to guide their heart and zeal, to lead them on that victory might bless their flashing steel. And who so fit to guide that host in all its bright array as William, Prince of Orange, ere he landed at Torbay? Then up arose the mighty chief and left his native shore, and rode upon the stormy waves our freedom to restore. Upon his flag was blazoned forth, high fluttering o'er the main, that our religion and our laws he ever would maintain. 'Twas then in gallant style he stood upon the vessel's prow, with victory on his flashing sword and wisdom on his brow. And tens of thousands greeted him upon his natal day, when he, our glorious Orange chief, first landed at Torbay. Come, brethren of the Orange bond, a bond ne'er to be riven. Whene'er we give great William's name, a bumper must be given. For if you'd fire a feu de joie to him who victory won, come prime and load and see you get charge into your gun. The eloquence of bumpers full, there's nothing can surpass. There's naught expresses kindred soul like friendship's social glass. And thus we give our song and toast with 3 times 3 huzzah, the memory of King William and his landing at Torbay. The memory of King William and his landing at Torbay.